A true genius admits that he or she knows nothing. I'd rather be an optimist and a fool than a pessimist and right. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. I am by heritage a Jew, by citizenship a Swiss, and by makeup a human being, and only a human being, without any special attachment to any state or national entity whatsoever. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. 3 rules of work: out of clutter find simplicity, from discord find harmony, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. The world is not dangerous because of those who do harm but because of those who look at it without doing anything. The years of anxious searching in the dark, with their intense longing, their alternations of confidence and exhaustion, and final emergence into light, only those who have experienced it can understand that. Imagination is the highest form of research. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. The search for truth is more precious than its possession. Wisdom is not a product of schooling but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. As a human being, one has been endowed with just enough intelligence to be able to see clearly how utterly inadequate that intelligence is when confronted with what exists. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Only those who attempt the absurd can achieve the impossible. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. When you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours you think it's only a minute. But when you sit on a hot stove for a minute you think it's 2 hours. Let us not forget that human knowledge and skills alone cannot lead humanity to a happy and dignified life. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. Subscribe my channel, if you like my work. And don't forget to press the bell icon. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. Everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. The only source of knowledge is experience. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. There comes a time when the mind takes a higher plane of knowledge, but can never prove how it got there. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. I think and think for months and years. 99 times, the conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. Creativity is intelligence having fun. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, require creative imagination and marks real advance in science. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. I am thankful for all of those who said no to me. It's because of them I am doing it myself. Unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. Never give up on what you really want to do. The person with big dreams is more powerful than the one with all the facts. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. Education is not the learning of facts, it's rather the training of the mind to think. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The mediocre mind is incapable of understanding the man who refuses to bow blindly to conventional prejudices and chooses instead to express his opinions courageously and honestly. The difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits. There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. Concern for man and his fate must always form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy and creative expression in knowledge. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. The moon does not simply disappear when we are not looking at it. Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. Nothing truly valuable arises from ambition or from a mere sense of duty. It stems rather from love and devotion towards men and towards objective things. The only way to escape the corruptible effect of praise is to go on working. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. A ship is always safe at shore, but that is not what it's built for. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. Weak people revenge. Strong people forgive. Intelligent people ignore. A human being is part of a whole called by us the universe. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. In order to form an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must, above all, be a sheep. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive. Most teachers waste their time by asking questions that are intended to discover what a pupil does not know, whereas the true art of questioning is to discover what the pupil does know or is capable of knowing. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. The secret to creativity is knowing how to hide your sources. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. You ask me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. Nothing happens until something moves. Subscribe my channel if you like my work. And don't forget to press the bell icon.